Hello, my name is Natalie Elliott, and I'll be taking y'all through an evaluation and demonstration of the database Philosopher's Index. Philosopher's Index is hosted by ProQuest. Most of the entries include materials between the 1940s and the present day. Philosopher's Index contains over 1,750 sources, which includes books, book chapters, ebooks, journals, e-journals, dissertations and theses, anthologies and book reviews, dictionary and encyclopedia entries. Philosopher's Index is primarily a database for philosophy-related materials and covers the five major branches of philosophy: ethics, metaphysics, epistemology, logic, and aesthetics, plus the many subfields that sprout from these branches. There are over 15 fields and subdisciplines officially listed, some of which you can see listed on the current slide. The database, however, maintains itself as interdisciplinary, since philosophy tends to overlap with so many other academic fields. For natural language and controlled vocabulary searching, there is a search tips screen available through ProQuest that includes instructions on how to use advanced search features, such as Boolean operators, wildcards and truncation, proximity operators, nesting, and phrase searching, as well as the custom Philosopher indexed thesaurus maintained by Philosopher's Index. Philosopher's Index entries cover materials from 1940 through the present and is updated every quarter, making it ideal for those who study history of philosophy and other related historical subjects, as well as for contemporary philosophical works in a diverse range of philosophical subjects. Philosopher's Index also has author-written abstracts that are only found within the database, along with a custom thesaurus with over 47,000 unique names and 18,000 subject headings, which is indexed entirely by those with expertise in philosophy, not machines. The human element in abstracting and indexing philosophical works is essential to maintaining equitable access to materials, since many terms in philosophy can mean something different than the standard definition of the term. A lack of familiarity with the usage of these terms could result in materials being improperly indexed. Philosopher's Index also has diverse geographic scope, with entries from 139 different countries and in 37 different languages. This is a boon for students who speak English as a second language and would prefer to find additional articles in their first language whenever possible. Types of questions Philosopher's Index can answer include general questions, such as, I'm looking for information for a paper on animal consciousness. The sources need to have been published within the last 10 years. Or, I need the citation information for Plato's Republic. I can't remember the first name, but the last name of the translator was Reeve. Philosopher's Index can also address complex questions, such as, I'm looking for an article I once read that criticized Mondadori's position on Leibnizian superessentialism. It was older, like from the 90s. I can't remember the author, but I do know it was published in a German journal. The article is in English, though. Or, I've hit a bit of a roadblock in my dissertation on the Confucian concept of differentiated caring and its relation to contemporary care ethics doctrines. I'm looking for an article that opposes my position and argues that Confucian ritual-based ethics is incompatible with contemporary Western rights-based ethics. Hello. In this video, I'll be providing a demonstration of how to navigate in Philosopher's Index. First, let's take a look at the basic search page, which is great for simple natural language searching. There's a text bar with the peer-reviewed limiter and some links above for the basic and advanced search, as well as the About page and a link to change databases to one of the other ProQuest databases. There's also some additional information about the database below. Let's take a look at the advanced search page. Here we have 2 rows with fields and drop-down menus, as well as drop-down menus for Boolean operators to connect the rows. We can add and remove rows. We have limiters for peer-reviewed, as well as publication dates. Below that, we have the subject heading search, which includes just a simple text search, as well as looking and browsing through the subject headings. We also have limiters for document type, as well as language. There are quite a lot of them. We even have one for multiple languages. There are further options to refine the results page, to sort the results, choose how many items you want to see on the results page, to exclude duplicate documents or include variants. The default settings do include the spelling and form variants. Let's take a look at field selection when searching for author and or title. One of the general questions from the slides asked about the citation information for a specific translation of Plato's Republic. Since the patron knew the last name of the translator, we can include that in our search too. First, we'll search for Plato, and we'll select author. Next, we'll search Republic and select title. We'll leave the Boolean operator as and we'll add a row to also include the last name of the translator, which was Reeve. Since there is no option for translator in the drop-down menu, we'll just leave that as anywhere. Now we'll search, and there we are. Plato's Republic, translated by CDC Reeve. And to obtain the citation information, we come here to the quotation mark and select it. And then we have a nice drop-down menu with many, many different citation styles. You can select your preferred. Do make sure to double check for accuracy. Citations can also be exported to an external citation manager like RefWorks or EndNote, or it can just be directly copied and pasted. Now we'll go back. We can use the modify search or just press the back button in the browser, and we can use clear form to clear the form entirely to something brand new. Now let's look at using limiters. One of the complex questions from the slides asked about an article written in English and published in a German journal in the 1990s. They couldn't remember the author, but said that the paper was critical of another philosopher, Mondadori, and their position on Leibniz and superessentialism. So to find this article, we'll want to search anywhere for Mondadori. And in the second row, we'll want to search for super essentialism. Also anywhere. We'll need to add a row to include the term Leibniz, and we're going to truncate that term. Since the patron used the term Leibnizian, but we're not actually sure if we need to search for that term specifically or some form of it to help us find the article, we'll truncate the term. In Philosopher's Index, truncation is represented by the asterisk character. All special characters can be found in the search tips, which will open in another window. We'll leave the connecting operators as and now we'll want to limit the publication date to a specific date range. We don't know the month or day, but we do have a year. So we'll do 1990 for our start year and 1999 for our end year. Now we'll need to come to document type. They said it was an article, so we'll want to limit it to a journal article. And they said though it was published in a German journal, it was written in English. So we want to limit the language to English. So we will search for these conditions, and there we are. The article is Leibnizian Freedom and Superessentialism by Don Lodzinski. I apologize, Mr. Lodzinski, for not pronouncing your name right. But we can see here that truncating the term Leibniz allowed the system to return both Leibniz and Leibnizian. And we can also see that it was published in a German journal, but is in English and was written in the 1990s. We can also see the term Mondadori highlighted there. Now we'll need to take a look at searching with the controlled vocabulary through the custom thesaurus. So we'll select Modify Search or the back button in the browser and Clear Form. There we go. To search the controlled vocabulary, we'll need to select Lookup Subject Headings All, which will open a pop-up window with two options: to search for terms directly or to browse the headings alphabetically. And browsing is pretty daunting because we can see that there are a lot of entries that only have 1 to less than 5 entries, but a lot with only 1. So searching for terms can make that easier. So let's look at the other general question from the slides. The patron was looking for information on animal consciousness for a paper and needed sources published within the last 10 years. We'll search the thesaurus for terms animal. We'll hit find, and check the box, we can see here that it has told us that one subject has been selected. We'll come back and search for the term consciousness and find that listed here and select that. And the system has told us we now have 2 subject headings selected. Now we'll add those subject headings to our search, which has appeared here, but they are also looking for materials that have been published within the last 10 years. So we'll want to limit the publication to after this date. We don't know the month or day, so we'll go with 2013. That was 10 years ago. And we will search under these conditions. And here we have a results page with over 3,000 results on animals and consciousness. Notice on the left, there are filters and limiters that allow users to further refine a broad search like this particular search. I would like to take some extra time in this demonstration to examine the peer-reviewed limiter glitch, as I have dubbed it, that users who wish to either browse or search in Philosopher's Index should absolutely be aware of. Selecting the peer-reviewed limiter with either natural language and the subject field filter or controlled vocabulary through the custom thesaurus will cause all searches to fail and return 0 results. Whether it's a search with natural language or with that custom thesaurus, any attempts to use that peer-reviewed limiter will result in no results being returned by the system. So let's take a look at a subject that has tons and tons of entries. We'll look at ethics, which is extraordinarily broad. It has well over 100,000 articles indexed under this term. So we will return to the advanced search page and clear the form. Now we'll look for ethics in the thesaurus. As you can see, it's cleared out from our previous search, so there are no additional headings selected. We'll search for ethics and scroll down. There we are. Now, as you can see here, there are well over 100,000 entries in the thesaurus for the term ethics. So we've selected it and we're going to add it to our search. And we're going to select the peer-reviewed limiter. We're not going to select any other limiters. We're going to search. And as you can see here, it's resulted in no entries, which should not be correct. So we're going to clear out the form again, and this time will try to use a natural language search for ethics using the subject rather than main subject, which is what we just did. That's the custom thesaurus. We'll do the subject filter and limit to peer reviewed and search, which again results in 0 entries. So one last time, we will clear this form and return to the basic search. We'll clear that and we'll search for ethics on the basic search with the peer-reviewed limiter, where 0 results are returned. Despite this somewhat frustrating flaw in Philosopher's Indexes system, it's a very comprehensive philosophy database that is overall extremely user-friendly and made much easier to browse with the use of the custom thesaurus. Users should just be very cautious about attempting to limit search results to return peer-reviewed articles. Thank you for coming along on this evaluation and demonstration of Philosopher's Index with me. I hope you found it informative, and I know it was a bit long, but I just couldn't help but include that really frustrating glitch that would definitely trip somebody up if they were unaware of it. All references are linked in the following slide, and thank you again for listening to my presentation.